Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is GGF bringing you episode 2 of Let's Try Roadwarden. Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to get it in. Episode 1 was pretty interesting. My audio's not set. One second, guys. Okay, let's go, son. They try to carve the world, yet their memories and tales dwindle. Their shells wither away. Homes and statues turn to dust. The wilderness prevails, as indifferent as time. Interesting. I don't know what the Windy Meadow is. We'll visit that some other time, but... Okay, so we've done everything. It's getting late. We should prepare for the night. Do I want to... Nourishment 3 to 4, vitality. You feel well. Can I repair my gear maybe? Or maybe I should eat a little bit more. We only have 2 food rations though. It's getting late, we should prepare for the night. I agree, Tulia sighs with relief. And may you do better than Asterion did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. Huh. Open the archive to reread most of the recent text. Thank you for your help. You go to the barrel and splash water in your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. Stay tidy to have a better chance to influence others. Appearance 2 out of 5. You don't stand out from the crowd. You won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. I prepare for my watch. The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There's plenty of griffins around, though they won't try to jump over the palisade. Probably. Better watch out for the apes. They climb up and carry out any food they can find. And there's this one really loud were-elk that keeps smelling the wall, though it has never tried to get in. He points at a gate. The lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy, so if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us to help you out. And if this someone is being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them the rope instead. He scratches his head. If it gets cold, feel free to make a fire. And the best place is on the watchtower. You may want to put a blanket there or something. The watchtower? He gives you a long, puzzled look. Oh, here. He points at a pile of crates. Just climb up to the tallest one. You'll have a great view at the northern side, the more dangerous side. And also, I know you're tired after all that riding. He points at the tent on the other side of the camp. I can handle a couple of hours sleeping on the ground. If you wish, go there after me and rest, just this once. At least I have a pallet inside. I smile. Thanks a lot. Put your blanket on the tallest crate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshment. From time to time your back aches and you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grasses. For most of the time you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are exceptions. At one point you see 3 horned deer trying to challenge one another. Before they clash their antlers, a 2-legged dragonling appears, leading its much smaller offspring. The furry beasts try to intimidate the predators with roars and aggressive head movements. After a few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight, nor to admit their defeat. I don't let it distract me. I keep looking around. You hear the death screams of distant prey and the mating calls of monkeys. Runners are chasing a gray hare. A group of musk oxen lazily chew the grass, preparing themselves to sleep. A dusk fox is running together with a lynx, making playful screeches. Thankfully, you never have to intervene. You just sit there watching the not-so-distant forest, trying to outlast your sleepiness. You can only guess how much time has passed. Once you feel you've had enough, you climb down and go to a tent, waking up the bearded man with just a couple of words. You confirm that nothing important has happened. I gather my things and squeeze into the tent. I use my bag as a pillow, put my blanket on the pallet, and cover myself with my cloak. Sleeping in a tent is not the stuff of dreams, but it's a much welcomed rest. The pallet keeps the cold soil away. The moonlight saves the outside world from the eerie gloom. You listen to your own breath and find a comfortable position. Your job starts tomorrow. I focus on the real goal of my journey. New journal entry, explore the peninsula. The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Your wardening duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula, learn about the territory, resources, and threats, get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Hovlevan officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers or be a threat to the priest of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery? At least I have time, 40 days to be exact. I need to be as thorough as I can. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Hovlevan. There you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. I need to gather some extra coins so I can save my sibling from debt collectors. I need to gather some extra coins so I can retire early and live in prosperity and safety. If I gather enough connections among the local leaders, I'll use them to become a major player in the Merchant Guild. I want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and order to this realm, a hero. I just want to help people, make this region safer for the locals and the newcomers alike. I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult past and I want it to be forgotten. Oh boy. Peace and order to this realm, that's going to be challenging. Do we want to go down as a hero? Or do we just want to gather some extra coins to retire early and live in prosperity and safety? Just want to help people, make this region safer for the locals and the newcomers alike. Either I just want to help people or some extra coins. I need to gather some extra coins so I can retire early and live in prosperity and safety. I just want to help people, make this region safer for the locals and the newcomers alike. I guess. New shelter unlocked, new entry, help others. You can't travel during the night, press the sleep button to rest. Your half-asleep senses are catching the sounds of the wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious. Though the pleasant, humid, late summer air evens it out slowly, you're thinking about your goal, but you need to gather your strength. All I can do now is rest. Sleep. Sleeping in a tent. You can spend the night in a borrowed tent. It's nothing special, but it will protect you from the wind and rain, and the ground won't be painfully hard nor cold. You don't need to eat now. Okay, sleep. You're woken up by sunlight, well rested and ready. Without haste, you gather your things. After only a couple of breaths, you notice a weird smell like a roast. No, burning meat. Burning, rotten meat. Disgust crawls into your consciousness. You exit the tent. Your horse is looking around nervously. Your bags are where you had left them. You see an open gate. Oh, the open gate. I go outside to see what's happening. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pyre. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Tulia is the first one to address you. Elzarian, she greets you with a nod. We used the horse's manure for the flames, so don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to male or female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. A traveler or an undead? There's the fire. The latter, a young one. She lacked the pneuma to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear from a safe distance. She shifts her weight. One more fog and she'd be a real threat. Even now it took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours, and each moment it spends in the fogs. burning the dead is not just a religious practice, it is a necessity. Soldiers, priests, village mayors, even road wardens, making a large pyre takes a lot of time, but it saves lives. Tulia calls this undead a she. Most unites hesitate to do so. Time for me to leave. Whoa, I gotta eat. Running away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She walks with you for a few steps. Find us here if you need us, or if you learn what happened to Asterion. There's enough ground here for you to rest. Safe travels. These words make you stop, an old farewell mocked in a number of songs and tales. But yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. You wonder how many acts of kindness like this one you're going to experience in the days to follow. She returns to the pyre. I prepare myself for the journey. Use the travel button to see the map and move to another area. You somehow miss the fact that your mount is already saddled and warmed up. You double check the equipment, but you don't need to fix anything. The soldiers were diligent. Normally, preparing any palfrey for a long journey takes a lot of time. You put on your gambeson and make sure that your axe is tightly attached to your belt, then get in the saddle. The palfrey knickers, ready to leave. It's time for you to get to the crossroads north from here. We really got to stop for a second and eat something, though. Oh no, let's see if we can find food in the wild somehow. Quick save, and let's travel. Travel forward to continue your journey. Once you're done with the north, speak to Tulia and return to Hovlavon. Nighttime shelter. Okay, travel north. Even at a later hour, you wouldn't expect to meet any travelers in the valley. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of birds is quickly replaced by the distracting screeches and gurgles coming from further down the path. You soon find the pack of four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes and merge the features of birds and furred beasts. Each one is of a different size, coat, and colors, and their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker fur. Their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they're too heavy to fly. About 24 beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. I consider my options. The dice icon marks the actions that involve a random chance. On occasion, you can use the scholar's education to unlock unique interactions. Knowledge. Your education could be of use here. You can't enter the forest blindly. If these or other creatures were to chase after you, the thicket would be disastrous for your horse. There are reasons why travelers stay as close to the main roads as possible, and why adventurers move in groups. Usually the safest approach would be to stay where you are and just wait for the pack to get hungry. It may, however, take up to a couple hours. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You've got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence. Let's, Knowledge. Thanks to your education, you can read and practice alchemy. I wanted to go to the archive. No. What's a journal? Bestiary. And we heard about a dragonling. Dragonlings are fast and bipedal, often as tall as a human. Travelers encounter their packs near the roads. They're used to chasing their prey with an extra advantage in an empty field than in the forests. They have a thick, dragon-like skin, powerful jaws, short hands, and some of them are partially covered with furs. There's more to learn about them. The griffins. The scrub griffins are four-legged omnivores larger than a fox that merge features of furry critters and birds. The front parts of their shells are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker furs. Their wings seem fairly massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they're too heavy to fly. The noble ones are rare and especially valued in villages across the Dragonwoods. They can be as large as a horse and taught to protect homes as long as they're well fed, which must be tough to do and expensive. Undead. Any breathless human shell touched by a fog or by a spell of a necromancer wakes up as a bloodthirsty beast. They seek pneuma to grow stronger, may it be waiting for other foggy days, or by collecting it from the dead. The more magic fills their new form, the greater their intellect and capabilities. They start using weapons, mechanisms, tools, even magic, and start to use a human-like speech. That's a really cool take on undead. That's really cool. They start as bloodthirsty beasts, but the more Numa they collect and magic fills their form, they get more intellect and capabilities. That's really cool. Till eventually you have like a master lich or something that can really cause some problems. Foxes and such. The woods are full of medium-sized critters, badgers, foxes, wolverines, beavers. Most of them avoid humans and in some cases are even seen as valuable allies when it comes to taming the wilderness. Still, the villagers tend to admire their beautiful furs, and since they can't really threaten a group of armed hunters, they are not seen as a threat. What about the were-elks and stuff? Cool music, by the way. Beast folk. Many believe that talking about beast folk brings bad luck. It's difficult to even judge if there's such a thing as a pure specimen. Each one of them partially resembles another animal, a boar, wildcat, bear, owl, lizard. Yet no matter if they have long tails, fangs, tusks, claws, or antlers, they're always bipedal and seemingly capable of working together. Packs, some people say, others call them tribes. These mysterious creatures show up all across the realm, hunting for animals as well as travelers, but it's not clear how smart they actually are. They don't use weapons nor speak, yet seem to partially understand human behavior. Even Wright's tablets describe a woman who used to trade with beast folk before they ate her. The smallest beast folks, usually with wolf-like heads, are known as gnolls. While threatening in large numbers, in small groups they don't present a problem for a skilled, confident fighter. Alright, let's head out. Let's look at our quests. Help others. While I'm here, I want to help people. Make this region safer for the locals and newcomers alike. Find the Roadwarden to receive his belongings. Explore the peninsula. I need to explore the peninsula as thoroughly as I can. I have to get to know the locals and find out how much of a profit can be made here. Then bring the news to Hovlavon. I have to leave the peninsula on the 40th day of my journey or sooner. To add worth to my work here, I could secure the roads by getting rid of any major threats and convince the tribes to negotiate with the officials. Soldiers told me about a large village that repeatedly uses necromancy, even though it's forbidden by law and can be extremely dangerous. I should take a look and judge for myself. The village is somewhere among the bogs by the northwestern road. Humans, Asterion. Pelt's Innkeep, a man in charge of Pelt of the North, according to Tulia. He prefers to stick to trade, doesn't like to waste time on jokes and empty gestures. Tulia. She didn't expect to become a lieutenant, and most members of her squad are already dead. Her squad was meant to find a fitting place for a new outpost. She plans to return to Hovlavon in the near future. Okay. Hovlavon, bestiary, glossary, daily life. Roadwardens. Dragon bones. We'll get into this as we go. Notes to make. Oh, I should have realized that. I don't know if I want to start over, guys, and take the gather coins to retire option. But I kind of want to be a hero too. I gotta think about this. That's an early decision to make. Be right back. Whoops. Alright guys, so this seems like a game with quite a bit of replayability. So I'm going to start with the easier route. I need to gather some extra coins so I can retire early and live in prosperity and safety. We'll be a hero maybe in a future playthrough, but let's go with this. Try to gather wealth. Become rich. Okay, now I'll get back to where we were. Be right back. Alright, we're back where we are. I want to gather enough dragon bones to retire early and live in prosperity and safety. 100 coins would be a good start. Could also look for an expensive treasure, something that's going to sell well in Hovlavon. And let's look into what dragon bones actually are. Known also as coins, dragons, or bone dragons, they are small, hollow, ring-like pieces of bones, often kept on a string. While their shape and thickness are not precisely supervised by the state, most people can judge when the coin is too thin to be usable in the marketplace. Dragons are gigantic beasts, and killing them is something that only the most audacious people have interest in. When possible, the bones are taken from an already deceased shell, but sometimes a weakened beast needs to be helped along. Dragon hunters do what they can to not spoil their prey. Counterfeiting coins takes a lot of effort and requires gathering bones of smaller but still dangerous saurians, then carving distinctive grooves inside every single coin. Using or producing large amounts of counterfeited coins ends in a lifetime of banishment from the province. The prices of goods are fluid and related to the accessibility of a specific good. The country is too poorly organized to maintain the banking system, so the merchants don't mind storing any type of bartered wares from seeds to magical weapons. Ooh, magical weapons. What are these fogs? Fogs appear in every season aside from spring, but the majority of them occur in autumn. They are feared and hated by the northerners, since whenever they touch a dead human shell, they awaken it. It's unknown why this happens or why it doesn't affect animal carcasses, but the common understanding is that the fog itself contains dense pneuma, which then spontaneously fills an empty human shell, replacing one's soul. Humans can replicate this effect thanks to the forbidden art of necromancy. Fogs also increase the potential of spellcasters. The fog is power, the tablets say, and while most people stay inside their homes while it's around, it makes casting spells easier by supplying wizards with pneuma. During foggy days, magical potions are easier to brew, golems act faster, and the blood magic becomes less demanding. And a little bit about herbalism. The healers are not aware what causes illnesses and how the human shells work. If there exists medical science in this realm, it's practiced by the herbalists. Their knowledge of herbs and other ingredients required for medicaments and antidotes may turn into the foundation of their alchemical practices. Although traditional herbalists don't need magic, and their profession is much more forgiving, especially since they are supported strongly by the placebo effect. Oh, that's interesting. This game is really considerately thought about, like very cool. Let's check out more about Roadwardens. They use many titles, but are essentially travelers who patrol selected routes or roam about an entire province on their expensive palfreys. While some of them... Is that palfrey or palfrey? Palfrey? While some of them are simple mercenaries hired on a long-term contract by village mayors, most Roadwardens get paid directly by the city officials, recruited among army veterans or trusted allies. Their duties include dealing with human corpses that can be found on the roads, delivering messages, and protecting travelers, especially merchants. They may also be required to learn the basics of the city laws and serve as judges to distant, troubled communities. Even though their salary is high, they often look for bounties, participate in commerce, or simply loot the unfortunate deceased in the middle of nowhere. A Roadwarden may retire quite early, though the job is extremely dangerous and as a result also very respectable. There are also the self-proclaimed Roadwardens, ambitious ex-soldiers, mercenaries, or trophy hunters who didn't get the job or decided to work outside the boundaries of the law. It's always nice. Some of them have noble intentions and help others live in peace and safety, though more often they are little more than roaming bounty hunters. Should probably learn about the seasons. Summer lasts for half a year. During this period, the wild animals dominate in the wilderness, but the days are warm, winds gentle, nights short, and roads passable. It's good enough for the roaming merchants, bandits, and travelers, while the farmers take care of their animals in fields, going through 2 or 3 harvests. The next 3 seasons take less than 60 days each. Autumn annoys people with its cold nights and rainy or foggy days. The monstrous beast and the undead migrate through the land, making the muddy roads even more dangerous. The poor gather supplies, make warm clothes, and fix their houses, while the rich close their deals, manage the final journeys, collect the taxes, usually food, and gather in the cities. Winter paralyzes the realm. Heavy snowfalls cover the roads, the predators are hungry, and the nights cut the days in half. Only the most essential trails are cleared, so the distant villages are on their own. The tribes focus on crafting and killing time, locked in their homes, sometimes sharing space to save firewood. The social life of the cities is louder than ever, and the daily struggles are not as severe. Spring brings a new calendar year. The melting snows reveal food supplies for animals, resulting in safer roads. It's the best period to build new roads and bridges, prepare fields, cut down the weaker trees, and repair walls without provoking the wild creatures. It's also when the villagers travel more for entertainment than out of necessity, visiting their neighbors or participating in religious rituals. Traveling attempts to pave the roads are rarely successful, as they provoke the monsters and are a logistical nightmare. The main traveling routes are a result of organized efforts to clear parts of the forests and beat paths through the meadows and hills, but such labor can rarely take place outside of the springtime. The trails are little more than firm ground covered by rocks, if by anything at all, and with trunks and roots that could damage the wagon wheels removed. They don't change the wilderness more than is necessary unless the locals have a safe shelter nearby and many years to put their plans into action. That's why the safest trails are close to the settlements, especially the cities, which send out patrols and build secure havens such as inns, chapels, and strongholds. Alchemy, we can learn a little bit about our craft. Alchemical potions, bombs, and powders are a subcategory of magical items, but alchemists don't try to influence their structure for centuries to come. Once the mixtures are consumed, put on skin, poured on the ground, or left alone for a long time, their effect takes place, then vanishes. While it's possible to create potions the same way the enchanters make magical items, most alchemists keep their pneuma unaffected by using precisely measured ingredients to substitute the power required to brew. Even a master alchemist doesn't have to possess advanced magical abilities to fulfill their profession. Alchemists use animal shells. One sec, guys. Animal shells, plants, herbs, special types of water, fungi, gemstones, and other ingredients, which often have to be collected or used in particular conditions. An alchemist needs to supervise the temperature, pressure, and the time it takes to complete specific tasks while brewing. All these details led the alchemists to write down their knowledge and research. The huge prices of their services have turned their scrolls and codices into cryptic texts filled with ciphers and mysterious symbolic pictures, and their true meaning is reserved for the alchemists' crafting circles. Well, that's interesting too. I don't want to go over all this right now, obviously. Let's look a little bit at enchanting. Filling an item with magic requires time, power, practice, and a lot of planning. This long process ultimately gives an item a place in the companion, turning it into a physical manifestation of a magic spell. The stronger the effect, the more pneuma it requires, so a mage may need to saturate an item for even hundreds of hours. Because of this, most enchanters don't have much interest in spells. They value knowledge and experience, sometimes willing to exchange their secrets and research with other manufacturers or even create craft guilds. Their services may get ridiculously expensive, so they use their own creations to protect themselves from troublesome clients or bandits. The Dragonwoods, a territory set in the northern part of the land, separated from the southern realms by the growing mountains. It's covered with forests, wetlands, jungles, and meadows, sewn together with a dense web of rivers. The swamps, lakes, and thickets force the locals to use long, meandering roads. And we'll get into more of this as time goes on. The land, the continent known to the northerners, it's surrounded by great oceans, separated from other distant regions that were just recently discovered. Colonizing these realms is still at its dawn, and only a few ships have returned from them. We should learn the orders of truth, maybe. The tablets portray people pursuing knowledge of both spiritual and physical worlds. They rarely focus on children, instead describing experienced, mature people looking for wisdom, contemplating their faith, exploring philosophical ideas, or inventing new technology, sages, wizards, herbalists, and inventors. The Orders of Truth, known as the Seekers, had no interest in pursuing political power or gathering wealth. Instead of creating hierarchies of priests and priestesses, they invited anyone ready to abandon their personal possessions, or in some cases even their families, to live in small communities focused on gathering knowledge, creating and copying handwritten books, developing new technologies, exploring art, and studying medicine, alchemy, or magic. While these gatherings, later known as the Orders, were focused on different activities, they were ready to share their knowledge with each other and support themselves in times of need. At first, the United Church allowed the Seekers to carry on with their research. After a couple of centuries, some orders gathered large collections of priceless books and talented artisans, able to sell their works for huge prices. The Unites tried to force them to adapt the traditional structures and join the priesthood, as well as share their riches and knowledge with the grand temples. The orders refused, engaging in a long political conflict. Some monasteries were forced to succumb to the law, while others moved to rural areas, trying to live in harmony with the villages, willing to exchange supplies for their knowledge and artisanship. A couple of the orders turned out to be influential and powerful enough to stay in the cities after all. Their large monasteries are generously rewarded for their abilities, but their knowledge is veiled in secrecy, securing the position of those who have access. The monks aren't explorers. They usually stay in their strongholds, only sometimes organizing expeditions to gather information and resources that can't be obtained otherwise, or to transport books or goods for sale. The orders don't keep military squads, but the monasteries settled in rural areas are well protected and even fortified. The Seekers portray nature as a mysterious force, a realm where the ancient heroes were illuminated by the right or understood the secrets of life and magic. While they condemn necromancy and blood sorcery, they don't alienate themselves from the pagan tribes, considering them to be lost rather than wicked. At the same time, they express contempt toward the United Church, portraying it as spiritually hollow and too invested in political intrigues and violence. They had mixed feelings toward emperors and empresses, but remained loyal to their military authority. And who is this Right? Yeah, the Right. Wright's tablets were written almost 2,000 years ago by many authors. After 500 years, Adir, the first emperor, turned some of them into a collection of religious teachings. The Right is the monotheistic God described in Wright's tablets. They tell about superhuman deeds of colorful heroes struggling with symbolic challenges and creatures. They don't focus on a specific ethnic group and were created when the northern tribes were still far from forming shared identities. The tablets also don't explain much about the creation, purpose, or destiny of the world, focusing more on daily life and ethics. The passage of time and the complexity of these sources makes them confusing, almost incomprehensible, and they often contradict each other. The church has put a lot of effort into analyzing them, yet often disagree on even the most basic topics. The teachings most priests agree on are that the Right is the only God who fills human shells with souls. It's willing to forgive human wrongdoings if one decides to turn away from their evil deeds and bases their lives on truth, kindness, and justice. The value of one's life is not grand, thus every believer ought to be ready to sacrifice their life in the name of what's right and listen to the Right's will, just as the heroes of the tablets did. All humans will be judged by their deeds, born in this life and after death. Okay, so let's return now. See how long we've been playing. 33 minutes. We're going to quick save. Okay, so we can take our axe and hurry the horse. If we ride fast enough, we should be fine. I should say here, better safe than sorry. Let's use our scholar's knowledge. I mix black powder with gladden that grows nearby and the dried skunk sorrel from my bag. Once I ignite it and throw it at the griffins, they'll scatter. Now, is there a way to go back and try the other options? Click it again. Okay. Alright, let's try that. We're an alchemist after all. I mix black powder with gladon that grows nearby and the dried skunk sorrel from my bag. Once I ignite it and throw it at the griffins, they'll scatter. You can learn more about your abilities in the character sheet. Nice. Most city folk feel aversion toward black powder, and you touch it with great care. The odor of the plants makes you feel dizzy, but what's more important is that the griffins have wolf-like sensitivity to smells and noises. A few of the beasts turn their heads toward you as you approach the pack with a bag in your hand. You ignite your missile and throw it forward. At first, the creatures surround the source of smoke, but then growl in disgust. Even putting their beaks to the ground, they flee, allowing you to continue on your journey. Let's check out our character sheet. Elzarian, the Roadwarden, after years spent on studying old codices and training, to gather enough dragon bones to retire early and live in prosperity and safety. Knowledge, you're literate. Your education helps you solve many mysteries. Alchemy, with an access to an alchemy table and proper ingredients, you can brew useful balms and potions. Vitality, okay. Appearance, cleanliness, 1 out of 3. You lose cleanliness when you sleep or engage in tiresome activities. You can wash yourself in safe water sources. You will do so more efficiently with special equipment. Appearance affects your influence on others as well as prices in shops. It's based on your cleanliness, vitality, and outfit. Armor reduces vitality losses in combat and can be fixed with proper tools or by tailors. The 4th level of armor is unavailable at the start of the game, but will give you a better chance of success during physical interactions that involve random chance. Nourishment affects your random chance of success during physical struggles. On levels 1 and 0, nourishment stops you from restoring health while sleeping or resting. You lose nourishment when you sleep or exhaust yourself, and gain it whenever you eat. Vitality affects your appearance and your random chance of success during physical struggles. Low vitality stops you from engaging in exhausting activities and increases the chance of dying in combat. You restore vitality by sleeping and resting. Alright, then we've got +0 for regular vitality. Our clothes need no special repairs, our clothes are not stained with blood. We've got a regular outfit. Combat experience, none. Engaging in combat helps you during future fights that involve random chance. Spared animals, depending on your beliefs, saving and sparing animals either makes you a weakling or soothes your soul. Religion seeker, a member of an order of truth. You pray to the right and follow the river of truth. For many years, you've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. Faith is undetermined. The strength of your religious conviction is measured by your actions and judgments. Any lies we tell, lying gives you quick benefits, but may turn against you after some time. Some lies are difficult to pull off for an unexperienced liar. Wow, sewing experience. You practice with fixing your clothes and armor with the usage of proper tools, and gambling XP helps you in luck-based games of dice. Wow, pretty dope actually. Okay, much more, RPG-ish than I thought. So let's quick save again and wrap it up here, guys. We'll stop right here. And next time we'll pick up and continue on. So thank you guys for joining me for episode 2 here. Really interesting stuff. It's got, quite a bit of RPG elements that, we always enjoy here on the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed as well and want to see more. If so, please like, comment, subscribe. As always, that lets me know that you want to see more and also greatly helps the channel. Helps me grow and stuff like that. And it's 14 hours before dusk, day 1, 39 days before autumn. So I hope to see you guys next time. Do come back, because we are going to continue playing, definitely, and seeing what's next. So until next time, guys, be well, live well, stay well, and much love, peace, and joy. Don't go anywhere. Much more intrigue to be seen with Roadwarden. Ciao for now.